Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Ibishu Pessima, which is the latest vehicle to be produced by the developers of BeamNG.drive. There are 7 presets you can choose from. One of them is the stance version, which I'll talk about later on. The other 6 are all cars you might actually go and buy at a car dealership. Of those 6, there's really only 3 different models, and those 3 different models, the differences are really quite minor. The differences is the engine size, the badging on the back, and whether or not it has hubcaps or real wheels. So let's start things off with the cheapest version of the car available to you, which is the 4-cylinder, 1.8 liter, single overhead cam DX version of the car. So this car is basically a mid-90s Japanese economy car. And if I had to guess exactly what car is inspired by, I would say Honda Accord is the car I see the most similarities to. Which means this is a front-wheel drive vehicle. The engine, even with the biggest engine available, does not make that much power because it's tuned for miles per gallon. The suspension is very soft because it's not made for ripping around corners at a high rate of speed. It's made for going over bumps and feeling them as little as possible. This is the very definition of a car as an appliance. This is the kind of car you buy when you just want something cheap to buy, cheap to run, and it gets good gas mileage. When those are your 3 main considerations, this is the kind of car you would buy. Coincidentally, it is also a car I would personally never own because a car is something I love. A car is something I'm willing to dump money into because I enjoy driving it. Generally, these are not the kind of people who, I am not the kind of people who would buy a car like this one. So anyways though, all the cars in this, or all the versions of this car are 4-door sedans. This one in particular is the only one that has hubcaps on it. And I love hubcaps in this game because it's always fun to watch them fly off whenever you do a jump or something like that. And you can see on the back, the badging does say DX, which is the version of the car I chose. And as for the actual shape of the car, I really don't have much to say about it. It just looks like a generic 4-door sedan that's designed to be economical, which is exactly what it is. So let's go ahead and move on to the interior, which matches up well with the exterior because there's nothing in here that really screams performance or luxury. It's just a basic interior design for a basic car. It has been executed well though. As you can see, looking around, everything looks pretty good and high quality. And as for the functional details, with pretty much any car by the developers, pretty much everything functions as you would expect. For example, parking brake works, gear lever works. On the dash, you have blinkers that light up there. Then you also have a light that lights up when you have the parking brake on. And when you have the blinkers going on or off, you can see the movement from the lever coming out of the stock. And the steering wheel rotates, as you can tell. Brake and gas pedals do move right there, as you can see as well. And lights do light up the dash, but as far as I can tell, they do not seem to light up the center console, which may or may not come in a future version, I'm not sure. And since we're talking about the lights, we might as well take a look at the lights on the outside. So we have a bunch of lights for when we change lanes. We have headlights that light up the car as well as what's in front of us, so that's realistic. We have some nighttime driving lights that come on when the headlights are on. And you can see when you hit the brakes, they get even brighter. And you have a light in the middle that lights up as well. We also have some reverse lights, which are those white lights that come on right above the brake lights. And, well, I think that covers everything for the lights, so I think the only thing left now is to actually drive the car and crash it. And I will hold this car to a higher standard than some of the modded cars because it's an official car made by the developers of the game. So we're going to start off by doing this. This is basically a 40-ish mile-per-hour crash into a wall to simulate a small overlap crash test that the IIHS would do. And you can actually find videos of cars from this time period that are very similar to this and see how they crashed, which I did before I recorded this video, and it looks really similar to that. The front kind of just becomes a mangled mess, and then the side over here has a little bit of damage to the door, but it's barely noticeable. And the part I'm looking at, you can see the damage is right up here. You'll see that it doesn't quite match up with the roof line anymore. And then on the inside, it looks like there's no real intrusions to the cabin or anything like that, which should be expected at 40 miles per hour. So, seems like the car did a very realistic crash test right there. And since we're doing kind of IIHS testing, we might as well do a normal crash test as well, which is just a head-on collision at 40 miles per hour with no kind of overlap or anything like that. So we're just going to go ahead and hit that block right in front of us, or that shipping container, I guess is what it really is. So right at about 40 miles per hour, good. And I expect to see a little less damage in this crash than the last one. So looking at the front, it looks pretty similar, maybe a little less caved in than previously. And then looking over here at the roof line, you'll notice that the door lines up still. Well, it lines up a little bit better. There's a little bit of a offness to it, but it lines up better than the first crash, which is exactly what you want to see. And you do notice the door did pop open just a tiny bit down here. So there's a little bit of a gap between the door and the frame now. So it did receive less damage, but there was still a little bit of damage to it, which again is what you would expect for a car of this era. Continuing the theme of realistic car crash safety testing, we can go ahead and do a rear end test. And in real life, you would have something like a crash cart to do that. Since I lost that mod, we're instead just going to back into something at hopefully about 40 miles per hour. Very crude solution to this, but it should work out if the car can reach that speed in reverse, which it can. And it actually reached that speed really fast. Does it go faster in reverse than forward? Alright, anyways, here we go. Perfectly lined up crash. Got some serious roof bending going on right there. And that's it though. So it looks like the doors and all those would still be operable. And on the inside, if there was passengers, they would probably be okay aside from whiplash. The way the car itself handled the damage seems pretty good. I noticed there is a little kind of glitchy triangle right here and here. I'm not sure if that came from the interior or what. Aside from that, though, it seems like it did pretty good right there. And look at that. It still drives. Actually, it still drives straight, even. Now, that is impressive. It drives straight after that crash. Well, you know what that means. It's time for round 2. Assuming this camera will cooperate with me. Come on, camera. Like, I'm telling you to go in reverse, and you're like, I'm going to look forward. Thanks, camera. All right. Camera. All right, here we go. Good. Camera stopped messing with me. Hopefully, we can still get 40 miles per hour. If not, anything is close enough since it's just extra testing. And that is a lot of damage. Does it still drive? Not really. Like, it can drag itself along, but it's the best it's going to do. And the camera is still like, I'm going to look to the side. Camera, you are doing terrible right now, man. And then damage here is a lot more severe. It looks like you're going to be hit in the head by some metal there, possibly. The doors are really falling off now. The second crash is going to cause injuries. The first one, that one might be okay. You know, like I said, aside from whiplash. Second one, not so much. So how fast can we get this thing to go? It's not going straight, and it's really weird feeling steering, but we can kind of drive. Not really, no way. All right, well, it was worth a shot, but it's not happening. I think that will be the last crash test we do with just a single car, so now we're going to have another car to do some more crash testing with. Now we're going to have 2 of them so we can do a side impact crash test, and once again, in real life, you'd probably have something like a crash cart for this. Unfortunately, I don't, so we're just going to use another Pessima to crash into my Pessima. And I'm going to increase the speed more than the 40 miles per hour you'd probably do in real life, because in real life you have the crash cart, which doesn't have crumple zones on it. In this, what we're using for the crash cart, this Pessima, it does have crumple zones, so we have to go faster to compensate for that fact. At least that is my thought process here. So anyways, we're just going to line it up right there, get this car for the camera angle, and perfect! And I'm going to get crushed. I don't want to get crushed, I just want to have the impact. Teleport. Alright, so how did that fare? Not too well, looks like. Looks like that B-pillar really got shoved into the driver a lot. So that's basically crushing your ribs right there. That is absolutely terrible. People in the back have their legs being crushed, it looks like. So that's also not very good. And I'm not exactly sure how realistic that one is compared to the crash car, but right there. That is serious injuries to the people in that car, at least the ones on the left side for sure. How's it drive? Actually, not that bad. It's drivable. Kind of. Not really. Yeah, well. I think that about covers that. So what else can we do? Ooh, I got an idea. It's time to bring back one of my favorite things. If I can find it, propane tank. We're going to slam into a propane tank. Or better yet, we can do an old thing I did before, which is fun. You put a propane tank in the front of the car, and then you crash into something, and it looks like the car explodes. That's fun to do, so let's just say put propane there. Oh, it's supposed to be inside the car. How about, there we go. I am Propane Tank, the driver of this vehicle. And 90% of the time this will glitch things out because it's basically exploding the car, and the BeamNG.drive physics is more made for like imploding cars. But who cares? We're gonna have some fun. 100 times slow-mo. Propane Tank don't know how to drive! Okay, it's holding up, it's holding up! I can't believe that! It held up! And what a beautiful explosion we got here. I love that. It looks great. Oh no! It was so good, and then just blah! Well, that's unfortunate, but it's kind of what I expected. Whoops. Meant to hit J, not A. So, if we want to actually see stuff happening without glitching out, we could just smash the propane tank. That was the original plan after all, but then I figured, oh, wouldn't it be fun to have the car itself explode? But yeah, that didn't work out. So instead, let's just do... What? 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 How did it not blow up? Hit it again. There we go. There's an explosion on the rear end, though. I wanted to do it on the front. I don't know how I managed to actually hit it in a way where it didn't blow up. That was weird. Looks like it held up pretty good right there, though, in terms of realism, so I'm happy about that. And we'll try doing it from the front again. That first one was terrible. I mean, I hit it and it just didn't blow up. Blow up! There we go. Look at that instantaneous stopping abilities of the propane tank. That was funny. Like, you just stopped. Oh, my hood just... Uh-oh. Something glitched out because my hood over there just started floating. That's unfortunate. For some reason, the car still glitched out right there. I didn't even see anything that would have caused that, but it did. Oh, well. What else can we do over here since we are having some fun? We can crush it with a BTR. This is a test of its strength on the roof or something. I just want to crush something with my BTR. That's the truth. So let's kind of get to the open-ish area right here. We set car 1 down. We get the BTR, and we're just going to set it right on top. Yes. That's basically instant crushing right there. That thing was awesome. And in terms of realism, there's a lot of spikies from the interior and the back. The front seems pretty good. And the actual doors and roof all seem to have held up pretty realistically, I would say. But the spikies are from the interior, it looks like, so they're kind of not a concern. Yeah, they are. So yeah, there we go. We crushed it with a BTR. How's it drive? Perfectly. This is a street legal car as far as I'm concerned because it still drives safely. It's just not safe in a rollover. Although the center of gravity is so low, I doubt you could really roll it over if you tried. Let's see, what else can we do? What else can we do? What else can we do? We can just smash it with a sledgehammer. So let's see, is this sledgehammer going to be able to rotate okay? Or is it going to hit something on the downswing? Come on. Yes, it's clear. Okay, good. So we're going to, let's see, I want to drive it into it. I was thinking, I don't know if I should drive it next to it or into it. I want to drive into it so it actually hits me head on. So this is like the front crash test except a lot more violent. And we're just going to coast into it so that way we don't miss it. Because if I was accelerating full blast, I might just go right under the hammer, which is not the goal. Here we go. Oh my goodness, I did slow-mo too early. It's taking forever. I'm not patient enough for this. That whole front half of the car just got destroyed. Wow. That was a hard hit. I'm surprised that didn't glitch it out, to be honest. Basically, the front hood on the right, or the right side is gone. Now we're just bouncing about still. Oh my goodness, let's just go full speed until this thing calms down. So that was one hit into the hammer, and it just absolutely destroyed this car. What is that that's spinning around? It's some part of the suspension, but I can't quite tell what it is. I don't know, maybe some... I can't tell. It's moving so weirdly. And it's jiggling. It's hard to tell. Oh, well. Anyways, looking at the damage itself, there is just so much damage. It's really hard to judge how realistic this is. But one thing I can say is I don't notice many real serious glitchy looking areas. There are a couple things that might look a little glitchy, but for the most part, it seems like it all bent in a somewhat realistic manner. And responding here, it's like the hammer's asking me to get hit again. So we're going to do one more crash, and this one will be on the side. Like so. Perfect. Right in the middle of the car. And oh my goodness, we are flying. Like, we are really flying. That's unbelievable. Oh, but it glitched out. I didn't even really get to see how much damage it did. That's sad. Let's just place it in front again and see if it works. Oh, we're stuck in... Okay, well... Before it gets in the water, you can just see how absolutely destroyed the hammer made this car. And then it glitched out right after I froze physics. I did a good choice right there. Now every time I spawn it, it's just going to be smashed by the hammer. That is a good place to spawn your car. So there we go. There's one that finally didn't glitch out. And you just see absolute destruction. Absolute destruction. Oh, hammer, 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 hammer. Get out of that. And, what else could we do just for fun? I guess we could throw it through the roller. I don't do that too often. Oh, goodness. Roller is falling to the ground crazy ways. Stop. You're fine. Don't bounce. Car. You flew so far away, I don't even know where we need to go. Yeah, here we go. Spot you right here. Rollers need to be turned on. There we go. Which way are they spinning? They're spinning the right way. See, sometimes it's deceptive when it's in full speed which way they're spinning. Come on. Oh, you're stuck. I'll unstuck you. What? You're still stuck? Get up! Go! You lazy Pessima. Crunch, crunch, crunch! And perfect! Except I don't want to crash into a wall. Aha! Saved it. Hubcaps are flying all over the place, though. Whoa, don't go for round 2! We don't need round 2. Let's see, still drivable, kind of. It doesn't exactly seem like it's gonna go in a straight line, but it drives. And that is one slick looking convertible right there. That thing looks so short, it's hilarious. Alright, let's do a safety test. Totally safe, because nothing crumpled, it kind of just bounced off. How weird, when you crush it down like that, it seems like it's stronger in a frontal crash. Alright, next up is, well, I think we've pretty solidly destroyed this car in a lot of ways. So let's do a little less violent. Something like this, where we just slam into a brick wall. So we're driving along, and then it's like, who put this brick wall on the freeway? And you try to stop, and, nice and gentle. And looks good there. Nothing unusual about that collision, so we can go ahead, go around, go for another round. And these are just, small crashes just to see, make sure the small ones look good too, because all these other ones have been like 40 miles per hour or more, or just something crazy like the hammer. There we go, another good brick wall hit. And again, yeah, it seems like it held up in a very reasonable way. Alright, I'm happy with that. Another dumb thing you can do is drop the brick wall on it. You just go like this, and then drop it. This should be cool. It's like a guillotine, man. Just chopping my car. I like that. That's a cool test right there. I like that one a lot. I wonder if the wall will hold up. So just go and speed it up. Nope. Bricks everywhere. I see no reason this shouldn't be able to drive if I get the bricks out the way. Run, car! There's bricks! Now that's a convertible. And the bricks are just bouncing all over the place now. You know, I gotta use those bricks more. Those are fun. I should just slam a bunch of cars into the bricks and drop them on things in a whole video. But yeah, dropping the bricks on the car and it'll still drive somehow. What's up with that rear wheel? Is that like the hubcap that got smashed into it? No, that's like part of the fender or something, or the hood. I don't know what that is. Is it the trunk? Is it a door? The world may never know. But we can drive it. That is what the goal was, to see if it could drive, and it can. Alright, now I think that covers all the crash testing we should do. So let's move on to kind of looking at the differences between the cars and do some like quick performance testing. So let's head to Hirochi Raceway. So this really should show you the major difference between the three stock versions of the Pessima. And I really mean it when I say the only difference is the engine badging and whether or not it has wheels or hubcaps. That is all the difference there is between these cars. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the performance timer and measure their 0 to 60 times and just have a nice list of them to show you the differences. Now the performance timers always do something dumb where it uses kilometers per hour, and then I change vehicles, then it uses miles per hour. So I'm going to actually start with the fastest one and we'll work our way down so that way they're all in miles per hour, because if it's in kilometers per hour, it actually has to drive a little bit faster because 100 kilometers per hour is 62 miles per hour. If it's measuring miles per hour, it only needs to go 60. Hopefully you followed that. Point is, they all need to be in the same unit. And for launching, we have automatic cars, and all we're going to do is just parking brake on, parking brake off, and then launch with the gas pedal. So it's like this. Like not a hard launch or anything like that, because it's not about getting the fastest speed possible. It's about seeing how long does it take the car to reach a speed doing the same launch procedure every time. So this one was 8.86 seconds, which is pretty respectable for an economy car, but it is of course the fastest version available. If we drop it down to this one, then of course the time will get worse. I'm thinking this one will probably be about maybe 10 seconds. So exact same launch procedure. This one doesn't seem to like get up off the line nearly as fast. You can just feel it. And yeah, you already got the time of the other one, and about 10.49 seconds. All right, on to the last version, which is the slowest. I'm thinking this thing will take a half hour to get up to 60, maybe a little less if it's lucky. So go. I said go. It really is slow. I'm holding the gas pedal to the floor. Come on! Oh, it got a shift. 12.87 seconds. So there you go. Now you can see the difference in speed. It's pretty like gradual too. It's like 2 seconds faster, 2 seconds faster. So that's kind of nice that it's so consistent like that. Anyways, let's crash. Boom! Now, let's do some suspension testing where you can see the difference between the two different versions of the car. The stock ones and the stanced one. Grid map, go. So let's go ahead and do a quick suspension test with the stock one, which shouldn't have a problem at all going over these suspension test things. And then we'll do some looking at the stanced one and then some suspension testing for it as well. So right here, real quick suspension test. And you can see, really, it does a great job of keeping the driver pretty smooth through such rough terrain and has no issues bottoming out or anything like that. So let's go and just go to a stanced version and see how it does. Well, first I want to just kind of show you the differences between the two. So obviously it's sitting way lower than a stock one. The wheels that are on it are actually the ones that would normally have hubcaps, but there's no hubcap on it. And then the tires they look like they're stretched is basically the easiest way to describe it. So I'm just going to call them stretched tires. And then the steering is really interesting because right here the steering stops. Like it doesn't look like we're really steering left that much, but then it just stops because the wheel would realistically be hitting the inside of that fender. So that's as much as you can steer, which means if you want to make a U-turn, you need like a 10-lane road to be able to do something like this without just flying off the road. It has a really, really wide turning radius. It's ridiculous, which makes it just an absolutely terrible car to drive. And you can see how bouncy it is too. It's just bouncing all over the place. Super stiff suspension. Is basically stancing on a $0 budget that we're looking at here. So going over this suspension test, I kind of lost all my speed because we were bouncing so hard. So if I want to do this, I gotta go flat out basically. because last time I didn't go flat out because I didn't do that with the stock one. So we're going to try going flat out. Oh, now we're bouncing too hard. Come on, car. Oh, yeah, not even going flat out will you make it unless you probably like really perfectly angle this thing, and then you get stuck too. The reason you need momentum is because if you lose it, you will get stuck and you're not going anywhere in that situation. We could try the slightly easier suspension testing thing over here. See how it does that. Oh, well, there goes my bumper, but we can make it. Maybe. Come on. Come on. Please. Not happening. Not happening. So that's the stanced version. I hate it. I would never stance my car. I would lower it for performance reasons, but stancing it, I don't know. If I was to stance it, it would have to be on bags because this is ridiculous. You literally get stuck on these tiny, tiny speed bumps. I can't imagine if it was a normal size speed bump, you'd really get stuck. I think, but that really is like stancing to the extreme on the world's lowest budget. It's not like a good stance isn't the problem. A bad one like that sucks to drive. And I'm assuming that's intentional, the idea of it being a really bad stance job. Anyways, though, let's go and just wreck the car up at places like cliff and brutal slope and all that. See, right now, I would want to throw down the stanced version, but I don't think it would be able to make it to the edge of the cliff without bottoming out. So instead, we'll just use the normal automatic one. And maybe I'll give it a fancy color just because I'm feeling like a very generous person. So we'll give it like a really nice yellow. Well, maybe not really nice, but a really yellow. So that way, if any part of the car falls off, I'll be able to find it hopefully pretty easily. And I'm going to go this way off the cliff. You know, it's nice to do a different direction just to see something different. It's going to be real fast on this side because it kind of evens out real soon, but just gives you something different to look at. Maybe we'll go down the forward direction as well because that's the one that really gives you all the crashing that you probably want to see. This one did a pretty good job though. At this point it's kind of getting boring, so I don't think I'll let it continue. Yeah, it's about stopped right about here, so reset. And then let's go off of a normal area where you can actually get to the beach while rolling. If I don't bottom out first. Come on. Come on. There we go. And made it. And if everything goes according to plan, we will be at the beach. In a ruined car. But we'll be at the beach. Oh, the hubcap's gonna beat me. The hubcap's flying, like literally and figuratively. I lost the hubcap. I wasn't even looking at the car this whole time. I'm just trying to watch the hubcap, and I know the car's in the camera, so I'm like, you guys can watch whatever you want, but I'm watching this hubcap. Well, looks like all the hubcaps have fallen off, and now a wheel has fallen off, and I have no idea where any of them went. I could find them if I really wanted to, but, you know, I don't care that much. So it looks like it held up what you would expect for something like that. Lots of damage and no major glitchiness or anything like that I can see. So that's pretty good. I noticed the door looks a little funky, but it might just... Well, that is a little glitchy from the interior. It looks like the interior kind of got stretched out. Alright, on to the next map, which I want to do, which will be... Leap of Death. Alright, so let's see if the stanced version can make it to the ramp and fall down the ramp. Because I want to get rid of the stanced version, because, man, this thing's terrible to drive. I like the stock one better than this thing. So come on, up the ramp. Oh, it's too low. Alright, we don't need a ramp. Forget it. We're just going to go off the side. I want to destroy the stanced one. And we'll do this one in full speed. There we go. Just barely cleared that ramp. I think I was kind of on the bounce upwards to be able to do that. So this one will be full speed, and then I'll switch to one that can actually make it up the ramp maybe and do that one in slow-mo. Or maybe I'll do it off of that angle again. That looked pretty cool so far. That looked a little bit cooler than the ramp usually looks. And then once again, I'm going to talk about how I never have nothing to talk about here because that is what tradition says I usually do. No, really though, it's like, what do I talk about aside from the engine spazzing out like a gyroscope, it looks like. Alright, there's the end of it, and well, yeah. That is a victim of Leap of Death for you. Just destruction all over the place. Alright, so let's get a normal one that can hopefully clear the ramp. Stupid stanced one saving its own life. So greedy. And this one I'll throw the slow-mo on for you so you can actually see the crashing happen in good detail. Plus, the first impact should have more force behind it, so it benefits even more so from having slow-mo than the other crash. And maximum slow-mo engaged. Zoom in a little. Disconnect the camera so it doesn't jerk about. Well, aside from the jerk behind the camera jerking it about. There we go. Perfect. I should do it like that more often. It makes it a lot easier to kind of see everything happening. And speed it up a little bit more, see what it's doing. I think I'm going to try to do this more often when I do the slow-mo ones, just so you can see it in detail better. Alright, so it's gone, so we'll go back to the car. And at this point, it's so ruined, I don't care what happens to it. We're not going to slow-mo it. We'll just let it roll to the bottom, basically. Oh, if it will. Oh, this is going to take forever if it does. It's stuck. Alright, last thing we are going to do is going to be brutal slope. And this one, I don't think I'll bother making a convertible of it because I kind of already did that. So I really see no need to make a convertible Pessima. It's just like, why? That's redundant. We made a convertible when we put it through the grinder thing. So all we're going to do is just slam into the wall. You know what? We could do one in full speed to make up for that, you know. Since I usually do 2 runs here, we'll do one in full speed, one in slow-mo. And maybe we'll use the secret area to the right. I call it the secret area because I never actually show it off. There's an area to the right that's kind of fun to play around in. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do full speed, slow-mo, and then secret area. That is a plan. Yep, full speed. It's just like, boop, car is no longer car. And I'll look at it in a little more detail on the slow-mo run. Wait for it. Now, power. No, don't slide out. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. WhyBeAre can't drive. Saved it. WhyBeAre can drive. So last one hit just over 200 miles per hour. Let's see if I lost a little speed sliding all over the place. I mean, in a way, it might be beneficial. Because, you know, there's really only so much you can see at these higher speeds. Nah, I got really close to the same speed after all that. The camera actually stayed really smooth through that. That's nice. The engine just kind of falls out like, I'm out of here. I'm not getting crushed. Everything else just, yeah. Done. All right, so let's head to the secret area. At least, you know, that's what I'm calling it. It's not a secret. It's just like I said, I never go there. So we just drive way to the edge of this thing and then we go straight down. Which will take a little bit to get to, and it really has to be on the edge. Because the secret area is only like feet wide. You know, you could barely measure it in yards, it's so thin. Well, maybe you can measure it in yards. 1 first down, how's that? That's an American way of measuring things. It's about 1 first down wide. Except first downs, well, you know what I mean. Generally, a first down is only 10 yards away on the first play, but then it changes all the time. So a first down probably is a terrible, terrible measure to use because it changes all the time. Let's just say it's 10 yards. And that's going off of memory from seeing it one time 5 years ago or so. So I honestly don't even remember the last time I was here. So I want to be sliding so we can hopefully wrap it around a tree or something. Oh, that's good. We had 200 miles per hour of momentum going, so we should still be going pretty fast. Yep, that was pretty fast. Where'd the engine go? Nobody knows. It's gone. It's over here somewhere. Here it is. Oh, by the way, the engines do look visually different. Shoot, I forgot about that. I forgot to show you that. Just a quick look at the engines and that'll be it. Because they have visual differences. Just a quick look, you can see this one is definitely a 6-cylinder. You could tell just by the design. Then we could go to a 4-cylinder one. You could tell, again, it's a 4-cylinder for sure. And you could tell it was a V6 versus a I4 too, which was nice. And there's even a difference between the 1.8 and the 2.0. But it looks like they're the same block, right? Well, maybe not. It's hard to tell for certain, unless you like really got in there, which I'm not about to do. But yeah, there's the engine differences. Just wanted to point that out, because I forgot to. Terribly out of order, right? Sorry. I don't know, for some reason this video was just a mess overall. Like, everything took way longer than it should have, and it seems to be like a reoccurring theme with BeamNG.drive videos, annoyingly, which makes me want to do them less and less. I don't know. Anyways, till next time, this is WhyBeAre. I'll see ya.